You are now tuned in to the Just Coolin' Podcast Season 4. Check out the roster. Music provided by Kodak.
It's your Captain Country Red from Just Coolin' Podcast. Peace.
It's your boy, DJ Quinn.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, DawsonSJewellS. Peace.
Hey, bringing that spice. It's your girl, Sassy.
What up with it? Got your boy Big Spud in the house.
It's Cooling Podcast on the Tattoo Shop Radio every Saturday on Zeno FM at 12 noon Eastern in USA, Culture Shock in Canada, Cuzzo FM in Germany, Wapto Music FM in Guadeloupe in the Caribbean, powered by Zeno FM with additional monitoring by Online Radio Box. Also, check us out on the Hub YouTube channel Friday at 9 p.m. Central Time and on YouTube channel Just Cooling Podcast Friday at 9 p.m. Central Time.
Coolin'. Welcome to another episode of Just Coolin' Podcast. I am Country Red.
DJ Quinn.
I'm
DawsonSJewellS.
I'm Sassy.
All right, sis, go ahead and do the honors of introducing
And
our guest.
tonight's guest, we have the one and only D's Sweet Teas, aka Heat and Heart Press, aka Deonjala. No. Go ahead and give us a brief resume and let us know about you before we dive into the questions.
All right. So, yes, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in your time zone. My name is Deonjala, but most of my life, most people couldn't pronounce it. So, just ended up being D. And so, a little bit about me. I'm left-handed, very proud to be a lefty. Always enjoyed expressing my creativity. Started drawing at the age of 2. Went through all of the rigmarole of college. Ended up getting 2 business degrees. But had I known then what I know now, I probably would have went a little different route. I ended up t-shirts in my backyard as a business. So that's where I am right now. I'm a mother of 3. My kids are spaced out. I have a 10-year-old going to 11. I got my 7-year-old daughter, and then I recently had a son in February on Super Bowl Sunday. So got a 6-month-old as well. Okay. So in very interesting juggling between the work-life balance, especially when work is right in the backyard. You don't always get the separation that you need to be able to have that balance, but it's also given me a lot of freedom to be a part of my kids' life at what I feel is very integral moments, like being able to take them to the bus stop and have conversations in the morning, being able to be present at career day at their school and things like that. So I'm super excited about being on this show. You know, I'm feeling all of the different vibes via the technology. You know, your auras are shining bright, and so.
Oh, thank you.
Likewise. Likewise.
Yes, I haven't been to the club in a very long time. I'm not afraid to say I'm 37. Haven't been to the club in a long time and do social distancing and COVID. I really haven't been out. The closest I'm gonna get for a while, so we got to.
All good. It's all good. We're glad you decided to come on our show. We're happy to have you here. So we're gonna jump right into it. I think you mentioned it a little bit. So, like, what gave you that creative bug to design T-shirts and garments and stuff like that to start your business? You mentioned you had 2 business degrees. So, like, what gave you that creative bug to start in the beginning, as far as the process?
Okay, so I started drawing when I was 2 years old, and I usually gravitated towards the arts classes in school. So even in high school, I had gone into visual arts in the IB program at my high school, and then they cut the program like right before we got ready to graduate. So I physically drawing by hand for a while, but I was in business school, and in business school, it was mainly finance based. So it was mostly going off of financial accounting, auditing, and that was like the big thing about school. there were some marketing classes where I felt like I was able to exercise my creativity, but most of it was the left-brained, analytical, auditing, financial, all of that stuff. So I found myself very bored and was trying to find ways to express myself. And so one of the hustles that I fell into while I was on campus, because I went to Florida A&M University.
Okay, shout out to them.
When I was on campus, I became one of the bootleg queens of Jordans.
Oh, okay.
So I started a little enterprise called Boys R Us at the time, and I posted up next to one of the local barbecue men, and I was selling, the Jordans and all of these different things. And one of my classmates actually introduced me to Photoshop at the time. And so I started, that's when those trap shirts were very popular, like, Lucky Charms said something else that went with the trap. And so I started making, little shirts that I felt like matched the designs and the styles of the shoes. And I wasn't printing anything physically at that time. I was just working with Photoshop, taking the designs to the flea market, getting the guy at the flea market to put them on shirts, and then posting those shirts up next to the shoes at the barbecue stand on Fridays and Saturdays. And so that's where I got started. And then I graduated out of business school, and I was doing a lot of design on the side for churches and organizations. And a lot of people would ask, create our t-shirts. And so I never originally intended to go into printing t-shirts. As a matter of fact, I said I would never print t-shirts because the process was it's a lot of steps, especially in the traditional process. So that was never my intention. However, how they say what God has for you is for you. So when one door opens or closes, another one comes. And so I was able to have a lot of equipment gifted to me, just learn a lot of things along. I volunteered at a screen printing shop and learned a lot of things. And eventually, before I knew it, I was printing from my first warehouse, which was a $500 shed from Lowe's that I built. It took me like 3 days to build.
Wow.
And my parents let me build it in their backyard. And I had a job for a nonprofit organization. I was managing their donation store. And so I would go and print in the morning before I went to work. I would go to work and I would print in the afternoon and when I got off. So the day long, and it was nice. Then I started doing a lot of mental exercises, activities, because they say important is the one between our ears. And went into a lot of tapes, Think and Grow Rich, Earl Nightingale, of motivational, figure who were saying, keep working at dreams, keep working at your dreams. And so I told you guys earlier, my daughter is 7. So in 7 years now, since I've been doing this full time as a business, I actually was on maternity leave with the non-organization. And instead of when I was back there to set my date of when I would return, I was actually turning in my resignation letter, telling them I'm just going to do this full time.
Wow.
And I believe in not burning bridges. I believe in turning your employees into your customers. So I've actually had the opportunity for not only that nonprofit organization, but the construction company that I was working with before that. So they still pay me. They just pay me in a day.
Oh, okay.
Wow, that's impressive.
How you get the name? How you get the name D Sweet Tea?
I've always been a big fan of play on words. Plus, my mama makes the best sweet tea that there is. And so we down here in South Florida, there's already a business called D's, and it's been around for a long time, and it's in the same area as me. So I already knew I couldn't do D's teas, but I bring a piece of sweetness to order that I do. And my competitive advantage, I would say, is that a lot of times I would do the artwork for free of charge, because a lot of times they know what they want, or they might not even know what they want, but they can say, hey, I want these colors, I want to play with this element, and I'll do that for them. And I just make sure that I try to always deliver compulsive quality to them. So I was like, let's make it these sweet teas, and it's a play on words, because down here in the South, they love sweet tea.
Right.
And so
Right.
it was cute or whatever, but sometimes I do have to explain to people that I'm not selling beverages.
That's
Yeah.
what's up. That's what's up.
Do you remember your first shirt that you actually printed? Because I know you said at first you didn't print, but what's the first shirt? Do you remember the first shirt you printed?
Okay, so technically the first shirt I printed, I was like 4 years old, and that
Wow.
was my mom. My mom is heavy in the crafting, so she always used to make like gift baskets and things like that. So we would always be at Joann's Fabric. So she got me some shirts from Joann's Fabric and like these little fabric paints, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I made this rainbow and it was all beautiful, and then I got excited with my artistic expression, and I some black and just smeared it all over there, and she was like, that was my first one. But as an adult trying to do this thing in a real way, I would say the first one that I actually printed, I think, was for my husband's father who had passed.
Mm-hmm.
I did like remember when they made the Obama poster when he first came out and it was real cartoonized? I did a similar effect with his picture and his name, and we wore them at a memorial service that we did at the park.
Yeah.
So that was my first time, dealing with hand process that. And then a lot of the orders that I got in the beginning, of course, were family and friends, people who had worked with me in the past just doing design. So it's like, just getting out there and saying, hey, I'm trying my hand at this printing thing now. And I got to give them P award, because even my brother-in-law, when I first got started, he was like, you put my logo, it was under my arm, but I'm still going. And I'm like, okay. So it got better with time. There was a little bit of a learning curve, but it came.
Right.
I'm kind of curious. Okay, so for somebody who's just curious on how is there like any advices that you can give to the people like me, how to print out, so just like make your own t-shirt, like iron, or any advice on, because we don't have those machines, but we want to play around too.
Okay, so one way that I played around before I actually got any of the heavy duty equipment was you can make a stencil out of freezer paper. Like they have something called freezer paper. So let's just say you print it out, and you usually would do this with an image that's not too complex, not a whole lot of colors or what. So print out that image on, say, piece of paper with black ink so you can see, but the freezer paper is transparent. So you take the freezer paper, put it on top of the image, draw out that image, and then take an X-Acto knife and cut the image away so that it's a stencil. You iron the freezer paper on so that it's stuck to the garment, and then you can use fabric paints from Joann Fabrics, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, and paint it on top of the stencil. Let it dry a little bit, or as we call it in the print world, cure, which is dry to the degrees that it's necessary, and then peel the stencil off.
Nice.
Made my son some onesies that way when I first.
How long you been doing this for?
I started in physically printing in 2013, so exactly 10 years now. Yeah.
Wow, congrats. So I'm going to piggyback off of Sassy. So would you prefer having your own screen printing / printing machine versus an online printing service? Like if you're first starting out, like what would be easier starting out? Because I know there's a lot of programs that you can go to, like Teesprings and stuff like that, to where you can upload your logos. And then if you don't have the funds to actually finance or buy a print machine, like what would you prefer starting out? That makes sense.
So I always recommend the Elope model, ELOPE, and I that because I say you excel by leveraging other people's equipment, expertise, experience.
So that's an equipment. That's a machine, then, right? Elope. So is Elope the machine?
No. Elope is the model that I use. I said excel by leveraging other people's experience.
Okay.
And so that's the same thing where a lot of the financial gurus say, you know, other people's money, use other people's things to get to where you want to be. Right.
Okay.
So I wouldn't advise anybody to invest equipment unless they're very serious about getting into the industry and being a part of the business. And you can find out that's something you want to be a part of by going and volunteering at a shop, you know, or where you just don't have much capital and you want to test it out. Then I would say try print on demand. Print on demand works if you're trying to test something. And you know, the digital age that we're in, you know, they're always saying you got to test, you got to put against the wall and see what sticks. So you're doing from an online perspective and you want to see if it's going to work, you can possibly do a digital mock-up and see if you can get sales. However, let's just say you put out a shirt and it just goes viral. Originally, you start off with print on demand to fulfill the beginning. But if you want to be sustainable and profitable, that's when you would go to in-house yourself or subcontract out to somebody who can give you bulk for a good price, a wholesale price.
Okay.
Yeah, because those costs, it's hard to be profitable at those costs that the print on demand people charge, because it's sometimes certain markets are saturated and it's like, am I really gonna be able to sell this shirt $35 just so I could make $5? Versus maybe selling, you know, the first two at a loss and then being able to recoup your costs on the back end. If it's something that's selling in quantities, you can do it that way.
Okay, perfect. Okay. With that being said, we're gonna pay some bills real quick and play a quick commercial. We'll be right back.
Okay.
What y'all talking about? Just Cooling Podcast. Make sure you guys subscribe and like. We are back with these sweet teas. That kind of rhymes a little bit, y'all.
Yeah. And not to drink sweet tea. She don't make drinks, y'all. She don't make sweet tea.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So, can you explain the 80-20 productive print method?
Oh God. Yeah. We learned about the thing they call it Pareto, the Pareto principle, that 80% of your revenues will come from 20% of your customers, or in the case of printing with me, 80% of my customers come from 20% of a print method that I use. And so it's very important in the beginning to narrow down what your 80-20 is. That way you're being as effective and efficient as possible. I've also found that when I deal with this a lot with customers, a lot of times you have all different types of customers on different spectrums. You have the customer that you might see several times a year that spends a small amount. You have the customer that you only might see once a year that spends a large amount at once a year bulk order. And being able to know to give your input to each customer is very important, especially with the because this work, especially with custom orders, is usually people who only take a small percent, bring a small percentage of the revenues that can exist the most. So I have a customer that only wants 2 t-shirts, but going back and forth texting, oh, do this, can you do that? And then I don't charge for design, so I send a design. Oh, I know that I wanted this, but can you send that? Can you change this? Can you do that? Whereas you got another couple here spending a couple of $1,000s and you sent one proof and that was it.
Right.
So just being able to balance out, identify that one, also being able to have boundaries to your energy with running your own business is. I hope that answered.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense.
Are there different types of printing methods? I'm just asking. I don't know. Is there different types?
Oh yes, a lot of different types. There is traditional screen printing. There is heat press printing. There is direct to garment. There is sublimation, embroidery. I mean, there's a lot of different print methods, and you don't have to be versed, but you should at least have a working knowledge of them and be able to work some connections to provide that service if somebody asks for it.
Right.
So you don't necessarily always have to have all of the machines. That's probably not going to be profitable for you to have all of the machines. The machines are not cheap.
Right.
They're expensive. So the formula that works for me is I do a majority of my in-house printing with the machines that I have, but there are some services that I do offer my customers that I outsource. I build good relationships with subcontractors. I outsource that, but it still comes through or under the umbrella of Dee's Sweet Teas.
Okay.
Does that take longer when you have to use the outsource?
Not necessarily. It depends on where you're outsourcing from. So I outsource locally, usually in the same as me, or if not the same county, one county over, which is like a 40-minute drive. So it depends on the schedule of the subcontractor. So my usual turnaround time when I'm touching it and printing it myself is about a week to a week and a half, and I'm usually able to deliver before then. But I like to tell customers, so I'm under promising and over delivering when it comes to print.
Okay.
I always check with my subcontractors to see what their schedule is, because it depends. Even though this is a year-round job, there are certain seasons when we get busier, and so last week you might have had a 2 to 3 day turnaround, and next week it might be a 2-week turnaround. So it's all about communication, and it's all about knowing customers' expectation. So I always ask customers, when do you need this by? And a lot of times they'll work with you. You will get customers who need it yesterday, but waited to the last minute to tell you about it. Now they want to make a miracle. And so I've also the art of sometimes saying no.
Right.
That's fair. I mean, sometimes you have to.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go into this first segment here. So our first segment is top 5 fashion companies, designers that impacted your life.
Top 5 fashion companies.
Yeah, that impacted your life. Are there any, or do you view it that way, or were you influenced like that?
I liked FUBU when it first
Fubu?
came out. I
Okay.
dated, but yeah, For Us made me feel, very proud to wear it if it was, the second option
Yeah,
from Rock.
I already, yeah, I already know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I was proud of my little 1999 FUBU jeans, and so that really gave me a sense of pride. When I first got into trying to step my foot into the industry, I started looking at a lot of different publications. So I was studying some of the people who were the best at their craft in the printing world. So there's this guy named Ryan with screenprinting.com. I was really following a lot of his tutorials and things like that. And the guy at the flea market back when I was starting, that motivated me, even though I didn't know that I was going to end shirts at the time. That really motivated, because you have a mental idea of something, and then you're basically manifesting to the physical. So, to take an idea and make something concrete and real, I think that's one of the main reasons why I really enjoy this.
All right, cool.
So I didn't have a top 5, but yeah, with 3.
No, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. I thought I'd throw that in there real quick, kind of throw you off a little bit. That's cool.
Where you at now? Do you have any other goals for your company?
I think my goal shifted in the wake of a lot of reality that took place, because at one point in time I would have like a huge storefront with a whole bunch of staff, all of these different bells and whistles for a print shop. And then between the digital age and COVID happening, I'm very grateful that I don't have the overhead of what a lot of these shop owners are paying. Like, living down here is expensive to begin with, but I'm knowing shop owners that are paying $2,000 to $3,000 a month just for rent, in a that doesn't include me having to buy shirts and equipment and ink and this, that, and the third. Now, granted, I have a 12 by 24 foot shed in my backyard. It was $6,000, but it's fully paid off. It's with AC. It has all the electrical. I have 7 different machines in there, and that's where I'm able to get all of my work done. And it's like there's no rent.
Right. So you're saving money. You're saving the cost of operating then.
Right. I've seen a lot of businesses, not just t-shirt business, but a lot of, businesses that been in the game for decades, brick and mortar shops, ended up going online. A lot of people had to figure out how to work from home. And it's like, I kind of feel like I had a little bit of advantage because I hadn't got the quote unquote dream. I hadn't made it there yet. Now, it's not to say that later on I might not expand and get into a. However, if I did want to do that, I own it and be renting the building.
Wait, hold on. Let me ask you. Has Red asked you to print any shirts or anything? He ain't sent you no business, huh?
First of
Actually,
all, go ahead.
DawsonSJewellS,
I got you. Don't
has,
worry about
has
it.
got to print quite a bit for her. I've done some of her, I believe Red one who designed them, right?
Say it again.
My other brother did.
No,
Okay.
I'm about Chico.
I'm talking about this red right here.
We
supposed
just,
to have.
sir, we just met.
Wow.
Right now, like 30 minutes ago. It's 30,
my bad.
33 seconds, brother.
Looks
But
like you just hopped on.
that's a good question, though. And so we can figure that part out. And so I'm glad he said that because I'm curious about this. So, like, let's say that you want to sell some T-shirts at a venue or a concert that we have coming up. How do you know what sizes to pick to give out or sell to customers when you are printing shirts versus like having customers online or printing as you do? What's the formula for that? Or is there a perfect formula for that?
I don't think there is a perfect formula. What I would more than likely do, maybe look at the past 6 months orders. And do an average. Like, okay, I see that the ratio of smalls, maybe like out of 100 shirts, the ratio of smalls might be 23%. So let me do 23 smalls.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Like that. However, you never know what you're going to get because the audience at that concert is probably different than your customer base that you serve. So I would recommend printing a whole bunch of stuff without being to that information, which you aren't. So when I do events, I'll make sure I do a small amount up to Excel, and then I'll give customers of putting in an order if I don't have their size there.
Okay.
Another thing done is some vendors have brought their heat press onto the menu, especially if there's electricity. They always don't have generators and electricity. Right. But if you have the option to take your heat press with you, then for you to have 20 shirts and just print on demand as customers choose what it is that they want. That way you're not making something in a size or a color that's going to sit on the shelf like dust. You can have your prints and you can have your shirts and you can do it that way.
Okay. Thanks for that tip. Okay, cool.
We appreciate that.
That's what he really meant to say. That's what he really wanted to ask.
Have you when you go sell at like these little vendors, at like little events, you should probably, I don't know if you've done this yet, but you should print out your QR on the back of your t-shirt so that way they can easily scan it.
I like that, Sassy. Like that.
You should give some out too for people that want to do business with you. Not just give out your card, but give out the t-shirt with the QR. So it's a free shirt with a nice image in the front, and then your QR in the back. So when they're walking, people are scanning. I'm like, I want to know that QR is the curiosity.
That's very good because I definitely went traditional old. I have like the tagging gun that you can the paper tags on stuff with. Yeah. And so I was tagging the shirts with my business card. Kind of like, but I like the QR code one better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I got you.
Have you ever thought about doing like work? I don't know. Have you done workshops before? You have, like when you taught all about printing and the machines and different steps.
Yeah. So Heart in the Heat Press, which is my educational platform, started around COVID. Before I knew COVID was going to do what it did, I started doing that. That bringing in students, teaching them about the different suppliers and how to be efficient with the process that I use for printing. I've also done a couple of different career days at the schools too, and about the different t-shirt printing possibilities and process. So that's been fun. And I created a small course that I want to take into some of the high schools that have entrepreneurial programs so that they can start printing their own shirts and use to generate fundraisers and for their school.
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
talk
they need that in the schools.
right, they do. So talk to us about when you had an article up in Screen Printing Magazine. What was that experience like?
Okay, so I'm actually on the editorial board for Screen Printing Magazine,
Right. Correct.
and that just came about as a blessing from God. I was doing a lot of podcast interviews in 2020, and I reached out to Screen Printing Magazine, and they came back and was like, "Hey, you want to be on the editorial board?" So I got accepted editorial board and ended up being one of the recipients of for 20, which was nice. And so I got an opportunity in 2021 to write an article, and what the editor did was she one of my posts that I did when I made it, and she was like, "I think you did tutorial article on how you did these sneakers and showing other decorators how they can use what they have at home to do the same thing." So that's the first that I did for 2021. And then not last, but the beginning of this year, I did an article on just being efficient with space that you have. And in the screen printing industry, there's several different types of entrepreneurs. There's me, who is a woman person, and it's just me. But then you also, on the other end, you have corporate entities like what is called Custom Ink, that has
Okay.
thousands
Familiar
of
with them. Yeah.
square foot space and lots of employees. But none of that matters. What matters is that the space that you do have, that you're being as effective with using that space to maximize your dollars. So articles that I really enjoy writing, and I really enjoy writing about the passion of printing. So there'll probably be some more articles coming in the future.
All right, congrats on that. That's a big deal. That's a real big deal.
Yeah.
What's the most difficult shirt you ever printed before?
That was my question.
Oh, my bad.
I would say some years ago, when I first got started printing, there was like a 4-color job, and this was for an academy in North Carolina. And the thing about traditional screen printing is when you on the shirt, you have different screens. So let's just say the shirt that Jewel is wearing, I see that it's black with pink, but and our customers just see, oh, I want pink on a black shirt. But really, if that's screen printing, there's 2 different colors. You have to do a white underbase, and then you have to do pink on top of that, because when you're printing on a shirt with a light ink, it's going to show unless you have that white underbase. And then you also have to do what's called flashing, which is heating the ink before you put another ink color down.
Okay.
So it was a 4-color job that I was doing for an academy in North Carolina, and it just had a hard time trying to get them colors lined up, because you have registration, like the colors have to sit perfectly with each other. Sometimes you got to flash. I got through it. But I was on the struggle bus.
Struggle bus.
I know that struggle bus.
Yes.
Yeah, we all been there. Oh yeah.
And you also print on you do towels, cups. Do you do cups, towels, blankets?
Cups, towels, blankets. Another thing, well, it hasn't been as popular the last few years, but when I first started doing it, sublimated socks were a big hit for the league football teams.
Okay.
So a lot of I love to schmooze and network with those team moms, because like the gatekeepers to the team, and you're dealing with people who want their kids' face their kid's name and number. You know, it's all about their kid. And so with custom items, you're able to charge more, but you're also able to give more authenticity to each design. It's unique because that's my baby, that's my boo. Jewel, she got kids in sports.
Yeah.
You know, we a little bit different when we swag with our baby face. So,
Right.
those socks be hitting. And then lately I started sublimating sippy cups. So I did a takeover the social media account for Screen Printing Magazine back in April, and I made it a mommy nerdy episode. So I only did like baby stuff, and then I dressed my son in it, my 6-month-old, and he modeled it. So it was bibs and one sippy cups and pacifiers and things like that. So the sky is the limit.
Yes, it is. And you are yes, you are proof.
Oh yeah. So
I
how
think it's over socks.
Well, hold on. Before I'm about to get up out of here, it was nice meeting you, Miss Sweet Tea. And I might have to let me get some of them socks from you because I know some females who need their toes covered. I'm gonna need them socks.
What was that boomerang with Eddie Murphy when he kept pulling
See, boomerang. Sassy, did you watch Boomerang?
No.
Right. Exactly. See, tell her about Boomerang before I get. She know.
I need you know what? You need to make me some socks with some holes for my toe hair too. You know, then I'll send some over to you. Yeah.
Don't do that.
They bumping heads again.
Hey, it's nice meeting you, Miss Sweet Tea. I'm gonna get out of here though. I appreciate y'all, man.
All right, DJ, you sound out.
All right, I'm out.
All right, peace. So how has the feedback been with your company over the years?
Feedback has been very good. I still have 5 rating on Yelp and on my Facebook page. Okay. So I haven't really had too many customers that were toxic that I just say, okay, not dealing with you no more. I'm very down to earth. Mm-hmm. I'm very personable. I love to know first names, what kids do, you know, things like that. So when we talk, it's not just about business. It's an interpersonal interaction.
Right.
So, good.
Okay, cool.
And one tip I'll give, and this goes across any product or service that you're providing, is errors and happen. But I just make sure that I'm going to be as transparent as possible, and I always replace, because that was the advice that was given to me when I first got in the industry. You're going to make mistakes. If you mess something up, let the customer know and you replace it. So for example, I had a small order of like 2 polos a few weeks ago. And the guy just wanted 2 polos because he wanted to test me out to see, you know, if he was going to come back for more business. First polo turned out perfect. The second polo, the logo was slightly twisted. Okay. And what I did was I ordered another polo. So instead of getting polos, one perfect logo and one with a slightly slanted logo, he got 3 polos, but he still only paid 2. And I told him about the one slightly off, and he was like, well, let me just pay you for this one too. And no, we good. I want that I'm transparent. I didn't have to give him with the crooked logo because he wouldn't have seen it, but it was still a good shirt.
Yeah, it's the principle. It's the principle. So if you could design a t-shirt or a garment for a person dead or alive, who would it be? It could be a family member, it could be somebody famous or a celebrity. Who would you design a t-shirt for or a garment? We haven't even really spoke about the shoes designs yet either, but like who would you?
Let me see. Good question.
Thank you. Who is this? Richie. What's up, Richie?
What did he say?
I don't know. I just I can read Richie. That's all I say on there.
I actually love TikTok and Instagram reel shenanigans.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be like a celebrity like that people know in mainstream. It would be somebody doing shenanigans on one of those
Okay.
Like
Okay.
I enjoy plays on words and little puns and things like that. Like I know y'all know about the Alabama brawl. So
yeah.
when that had the collection of Chair Jordan shirts, where the silhouette Jordan is silhouette, the actual silhouette of the man swinging the chair. And so I enjoy doing little things, little quirky things like that. It's so not so much on a celeb, but I really like to bring everyday people's ideas and stuff to life.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, no,
I'm here.
Oh, okay. I always have some technical difficulties. Okay. All right.
Dee, can I just say I love your t-shirt, especially with the teens on it and their cute little face on it. I get what you're saying when you say those moms are like the gatekeeper cheering for their kids, especially when they have their kids' picture and you put it on just so well. It's not like one of those where like because some people when they do the t-shirt printing, it just looks tacky,
blurry.
They put the design, not just blurry, but it's just like it's too much.
Yeah.
Yours is just like it comes together, it fit nicely. The colorful, and I like the one with the lion too. Was it the lion logo and then the polo shirt? Those are so cute on there. I'm just looking at the page. I'm like, oh my god, these are so cute. She's like legit.
She the real deal. She the real deal.
I love it because it looks like you understand these moms. You're like, yeah, there's the mom that want to show off the kids. And I'm like, yo, she's showing them off really well. Anytime, I think it's a good idea too for you to put the QR code for the tag as well in the back, or print it in the back of so that way they know where the back is. But also, if other moms like, oh my god, where did you get that shirt? But like, you know what? Take out your phone. Everybody has a phone. Let me just scan the QR code and back on my son's shirt right now for you. And there you go, business boom.
Yeah.
Have to set up a promo code Sassy.
Yes, you got it.
Oh, girls.
I would definitely go for it. I was like, because if I was seeing those t-shirts on a mom or the kid, I would stop them. But like, where do you get that? That's like nice quality. It's really, I really love it. It looks so cute. You do the Disney print, you do the proud father and proud mother, the little family get thing too. It's so cute. I mean, I already like speaking to you and just like talking to you. I just like to just gotta say, I don't know how you have time for it, because that's 3 kids. That's a lot. I have 2, and that's already too many. And
right,
I don't know how you're doing like with the printing. This is you're a woman right there. That's like the definition of a strong woman who got her own business, an entrepreneur who does in her backyard with all, and you have all these knowledge. You should do online classes as well too, like just to get that extra, especially when you love to teach those and give people the knowledge that you know, and you're so genuine about it. You're like, listen, I'm going to teach you. I want to teach you this. And on the side, you kind of giving it out for free. I wouldn't, but you are, more power to you. But you spreading the love. That's too much love to spread. But at least, let them give you something back.
Well, yeah, Art and Press is an educational component to what I do, and I was actually courses back in 2020. It's now it's in hibernation mode, but I'm going to get back to it soon, because every now and then I got to recoup from burnout. It's a lot, printing and trying to teach at the same time, but I'm gonna get back in. I'll let you guys know.
Yes. My question, D, this is a question I ask everybody. What is your why? Like you said like sometimes you get burnt out, or sometimes your creative process is just like on stuck mode. Like, what is your why to keep you motivated, to keep you going, to know that okay, this is my purpose? What is your why?
I would say my why is being able to help people bring thoughts into reality. Like, I feel like there's such a force behind the creativity of taking something that somebody said, something that somebody thought, something that somebody is trying to convey and get out, and actually physically manifesting that. So I really enjoy being able to, like, I've had customers who you may have showed a drawing or a doodle or a sketch on like a napkin. I was like, well, I wanted to be like this, and able to go into Photoshop and go out in shop and create it, and them saying, oh my goodness, I really enjoy that, because everybody has their strengths in a sense. Everybody has these gifts, and right. So I feel like it's our job as good stewards to be able to, pour into each other and sharpen each other with the gifts that we've given. And what comes easy to me doesn't come easy to what comes easy to you doesn't come easy to me. So I feel like creativity and sharing our gifts is another form of currency.
Wow.
Yeah, beautiful.
Good answer. Yes.
I
Richie said you're bringing them to life. You're helping bring their design, bring it to life. That's Richie in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. What up, Richie? I have one more question. So, what would you say to anybody upcoming that's interested in designing, period, as far as t-shirts, period, like anybody that's younger, upcoming? What advice would you give to the youngsters that's trying to follow in your footsteps?
I would say the first investment isn't always financial; it's internal, and so you have to invest in yourself. One of those things is your self-talk. Are you affirming yourself all that it is that you can? And so having goals, I know I had 2 vision boards, and when I first started, how like in the barbershop take the first dollar that they make and they put it on the wall. I have a vision board that has the first dollar that I made in it, and then it has different cutouts from the t-shirt magazines about me wanting me wanting to grow, me wanting get this equipment and that equipment. And I find a lot of power in things down. And give an example, like when I first worked for the construction company, which is now my customer, when I was working there and I first decided that I was going to get started with t-shirts, I had a list of all things that I needed. And I knew all of that I needed because I was volunteering for free in a print shop, doing all the jobs that nobody else wanted to do. I'm just taking thing in, absorbing everything like a sponge. Okay, I'm gonna need this. I'm gonna need this supply. I'm gonna need that. And the list was exhaustive. There were like 40 things on the list, and I'm like, dang, it's gonna be to get click. That didn't look at it again for maybe another 2 or 3 years. And once you know at the time, I had acquired a single thing on that list.
Wow.
I think it's very to set goals, set realistic goals. Always be so impulsive to make an investment financially without first making an internal investment within yourself. And one of those ways is volunteering somewhere where they already have the equipment, they already have the experience, and seeing if that's what you want. Because there's a lot of equipment online, brand new equipment, never been used, because the person saw the heat press or they saw the printer and they saw this, and then they started doing it, and it was, this ain't for me.
Right.
That's real.
So,
invest in yourself.
That happens. And so, how does anybody have any more questions before we end?
I want can we just please do Miss Dawson? I'm tired of. I want to hear
Oh,
details.
yeah.
Oh yeah, get it in, sis. Yeah.
What is this?
Which it's called ITO, like what you're like, I'm tired of. So you say what you're tired of and why.
Okay. Did you catch the extra hard? Oh, I'm tired of Black customers bashing Black businesses, especially in forums. And this is why I don't deal with Black customers. I mean, this is why I don't deal with Black businesses. I'm tired of that narrative. I go above in what I do. Not all Black business owners aren't the same, just like all Black customers aren't the same, because Black customers ain't with either. You know? So I mean, we're dealing with the behavior of, if you want Tom's t-shirts, you're gonna pay 2 to 3 times as much, and you're gonna pay it all up, you know. And on a question, you might get a fraction of the quality, whereas you're coming to me, you're not getting the same price, and you're getting good quality, and I shouldn't have run you down for the invoice.
Okay.
There's sides to every coin. So I'm tired of people saying, oh, that's why I don't rock with Black businesses. You know, it owns sometimes. No, it do be your own sometimes. Because we got Black business owners, especially the good ones, we have some about how we are too as customers.
Right. Okay, Sassy, you have one?
No, I just want to write off of that, because I feel like for other businesses, sometimes people don't, remind themselves that there's enough room for everyone.
Thank you.
There's room for everyone. Like, even though there's the same, we go into the same business, there's enough room, because you're not going to catch everyone in the world, so you might reach out to a different, broader people. And then there might be other people that you're attracting than this person. And like you say, you have, you bring out your personality, you try to relate to them. They might like you more because of that. So there's enough room for everyone. It's just more of you. Who are you that attracts them? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Sassy said, you know how many types of bread there are? It's like 1,000 types of breads, right? And everybody like their type of bread. So, how much bread do you, so it's like she said, it's room for everybody, you know what I'm saying? So we just have to and then at the same time, everyone started from somewhere. And I hate that too, when they be like, well, I'm going to pay, like you said, I'm going to pay this much for this person. But when it comes to me or to D.O., you don't want to pay, or, so got to do better.
Do you feel like it's more of that happening versus what you guys just said?
More of which? Well,
you mentioned that like Black folk, you don't like dealing with them sometimes when it comes to business. Not all of them. So like you feel like there's the way I took it was you feel like there's less lack of support for your business when it should be the other way around. Does that make sense? And you seem very disappointed on the support. Or
no.
Am I reading it wrong, or like?
No, I'm not disappointed in the support that I get at all. I'm talking about the general consensus when I go on Facebook or Instagram or something. And Black customers are bashing Black businesses. I have a good diverse mixture of clientele. So what I want those people who do bash Black businesses to know is I'm not putting all of my Black customers in a box and saying all Black customers are that way. So don't say why I don't deal with Black businesses, period. You let one experience change how you're going to move. Not all Black businesses are the same, just like not all Black customers are the same.
Right. Okay.
Right.
I just want to get some clarification on there. I just want to make sure. Cool.
I real quick, I just wanted to see, like, have you experienced this? Do you experience, because I don't know, I just feel like I observed this and I seen this. Do you feel like those, like, strangers are more supportive to you than people that are close, or family members or friends that's more supportive? It's just a curiosity, because
I mean, it's a good question. That's a good
question.
Sometimes it depends on what it is. So I think it was like 2017 or 2018. I was trying to do the online store for everything HBCUs, which was a company that started, and we were making HBCU apparel, and we actually had gotten licensed and accredited for 11 HBCU universities. And so what I found is when I was putting marketing up on just my personal Facebook page, you always get a lot of people who say, "Oh, love that, love, the new thing, love this, how can I get one?" And then you post the link and no clicks. Versus doing, a small Facebook ad advertisement. We had customers from all over the United States that way, and they were practically strangers. So it depends. I got a lot of my initial work off of family and friends, and then through that family and friend process, I was able to get my learning curve together. So now I'm making sure everybody's getting the best that I can give, but a lot of times it be a lot of just talking. I like that, I love it. So what I do is I use my personal social media just to do a little storytelling. I like to do posts that give like a background story to the customer. I met them, and they get to see the picture of the shirt. Or if I want to test something out, I'll say, hey, I came up with this design. What do you guys think? I'm trying to see something. Or like I did with the Chair Jordan shirts. If you guys did my Facebook page, I did 3 designs. I labeled them ABC, and then I asked, hey, which one is your favorite? And so that helped me in other aspects. I'm not using Facebook for direct set and expecting that, because that's not the reaction that I get from my personal Facebook. You get a lot of likes and comments and, "Ooh, I think this would be cute on a gray shirt," but actual sales have come from a lot of years, especially in the online platform.
Okay, dope. That's real dope. So how can everybody get a hold of your socials? How can they reach you? How can they get in contact with you if they want to purchase t-shirts and everything else that you have going on? Tell the people how they can get in contact with you.
So my personal Facebook page is, and I feel like a little dinosaur, because Facebook
you're doing it. You got her. You doing it. So I mean,
Facebook for us is maybe Facebook to my kids is what MySpace is for us, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the form that I feel the most comfortable in. Also Instagram. So my Facebook page is Deonjala Williams Adams. That's my personal page. I have a business page, D Sweet Teas, but I most time post to my personal page. And so it's a mixture between the jobs that I do and also the soap opera is my motherhood life with the kids. And so that's an authentic way to reach me. My business number is 561-247-3173. That is 561-247-3173. So if you wanted to place an order via phone, you can do that number, and I will make sure that I connect back with you in that way. And then on Instagram, the IG is Heart and a Heat Press, but that's more of the educational and motivational component of what it is that I do.
All right, cool. Anybody have any announcements or plugs they want to do before I do the closing quote? The end of the show.
No.
You can go for it.
All right. So, D, every time we get ready to end our show, I like to end the show with a positive closing quote. So I hope that you like it. Go like this. So it's pretty short and straight to the point. I know it's late. We appreciate you being on here. So, excellence is not a skill. It is an attitude. Excellent is not a skill. It is an attitude. And that's by Ralph Martin. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys. And so hopefully you guys like that. We appreciate you coming on to our show tonight.
Thank you.
We really
Thank
do.
You, thank you, Auntie.
You
all right, so y'all ain't got no. I thought there was hip hop questions.
Oh, wow. I mean, you was so nice, boy. I just kind of got blindsided. But we can go into some hip hop real quick if you want to.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, no, we don't have to do all of that. I will say I have an eclectic taste for a wide spectrum of music, with the exception of heavy, but really enjoy, all different types of music. So yeah, it's all over the place. But I was Jewel, like my favorite type of compositions are musical. So if I'm going somewhere on a long trip, that Dream Girl soundtrack in, and I'm listening to track 1 through 15,
Yeah, my bad about the hip hop. It was just he was just giving out so much valuable information. I just got sidetracked. But we can do another episode of just hip hop and all that. I got you, But I think that you was in such a flow and a rhythm, and I think your message needed to be heard. That I didn't even want to interrupt it. To be honest with you, like your voice needed to be heard. There's a lot of people out here that's really trying to figure out where they are at in their lane, and like even if it's just something what you're doing, t-shirts and above and beyond, I think they really need to hear your voice, and you have a lot of knowledge and insight on what you were talking about. So that's pretty much why I did not bring it up, because I was learning. I'm taking mental notes too. I was taking notes, so I didn't really want to end it that way.
One tip that I really want to be as a takeaway for the whole thing is that I believe the quote is, "Comparison is the thief of joy." And we are at the age right now where we're constantly being bombarded, especially when we open these screens, with what she's doing, what he's doing, this, that, and you might be tempted to compare. I'm not there yet, if I see a from a t-shirt printer that just to their brick and mortar shop, you're looking inwardly, why I ain't made it there yet, why I didn't do this, why I didn't think of that. And I think a lot of that, to just continue to reflect, to not compete, but to worry on if you're going to worry about something, don't worry about competing, but focus on creation.
Wow,
that's dope.
Message.
There you go, message. Yeah. Richie said that was deep. I thought Richie left. Richie, that last good word right there. See?
Yeah.
She over here dropping bars and metaphors. That was hip hop right there. See?
Yeah.
She said, "Drop the mic."
Lord. When we do the if we come back and do the hip hop episode, I guess Joy and tell y'all I made a WAP remix, and it's all about printing
I forgot all about. You have to send the video to him, D.
Oh my God!
Video.
That's got to be interesting.
Send us matching t-shirts for it.
Well, not me, but I hold it up, but I ain't gonna want to watch. I will promote it.
All right, I definitely that I send the link to you guys.
That's funny. You said the wow.
Maybe we can play it the next time.
All right.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, D, for being on here. Really
much appreciated. Really much appreciated, man. We had a good time talking to you and picking your brain. With that being said, he said this woman is priceless. Right on. Richie, what's up, Richie? Make sure everybody like and subscribe, man. Please.
Yeah.
We are out of here. Peace. Y'all take care.
Peace.
All right. Thank you, guys.